Hey everyone, thank you for attending today's AI Writer 2.0 webinar. We're going to be talking about elevating your content strategy using the Ubersuggest AI Writer. Now, without further ado, I hope everyone is doing amazing. I'm going to jump into our presentation that we have prepared for today. So thank you for joining us. With that said, let me share just like that. All right, that worked like magic. So again, thank you for all your patience, everyone. So let's jump into our advanced content production uh, webinar to help us rank better. So this is our founder, Neil Patel, as you may have heard of him. He founded multiple companies, a bunch of which you probably heard of. NP Digital, neilpatel.com, Ubersuggest. There's also other peripheral companies like Kissmetrics, Crazy Egg, QuickSprout from the past. But essentially now our focus is NP Digital, and all of the properties that Neil owns is under NP Digital. And you can also see that, we've worked with essentially Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, and the like, and just a myriad of Fortune 500 companies. And, across all of his social channels, he has around about 4 million followers, around about 5 million if I had to round it out. He's also received honors from President Obama when he was 30 years old. He's also gotten millions of visitors to his own websites and also his clients' websites as well during his time working with them, right, at the agency, etc. We also have about 700 employees worldwide, essentially in more than 50 countries, 15 countries, and then we also have more than 750 clients spread across the world, essentially. We also have branches on all of those countries mentioned on the left there, including United Kingdom, United States, Poland, Philippines, Japan, Germany, India, Canada, you name it. We have places there. We also have more expansions happening in the Asia Pacific zone, where we're expanding to Singapore and Malaysia and a couple other countries that you don't see essentially in the slide here. And this is me. I'm your host, Vignesh Kumar, and I'm marketing manager here at Ubersuggest and Answer the Public. I work on the SaaS side of the business, essentially, and I've been doing marketing for over 15 years now, roughly speaking. I've driven over $45 million in client revenue across multiple campaigns over the last couple of years I've been working here. I've been working here for about 8.5 years, roughly speaking. There's a lot going on there. And then obviously I manage all of the webinars and post-productions for the NP Digital brand. I was also born on Ganesh Chaturthi, which is like a holiday. It's coming up next week, I believe. So it's kind of a fun time to mention that. I also study marketing and economics and business fervently. It is one of my main hobbies in life, and just that's all. And then I consider it my honor and privilege to be working with you today and to be hosting this webinar with you. I think it's something amazing that I've dreamt of for years before I joined this company in the first place. So super honored and a huge pleasure to be here. With that said, let's talk about things from the webinar. So this is a quote from Steve Jobs from 1995, right? So he back in the day had the foresight to say that billions and billions of tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of products and services will be sold on the internet. Think of the internet as the ultimate direct-to-consumer distribution channel. Obviously, he was right, and obviously he's also wrong, because you can see, instead of hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue, these days, global e-commerce sales stands at over $3.4 trillion a year. It's projected to go to 6.5 trillion by 2023, like the end of 2023, essentially, and we're well on track to do that, right? So direct-to-consumer selling is also accelerating, using customer data and offering personalized products and experiences and that's what keeps customers coming back, which is a huge part of what we're going to be talking about today. With that said, let's talk about some clients, partners that we worked with that show the power of SEO and content marketing. You can see this is Legion Athletics, one of the companies that we worked with in the past, who's like a partner of ours. And you can see like in that given time frame, like of a couple of years, they were getting about 10 million visits to their website, and purely and mostly driven by organic traffic. This is Muscle for Life. Again, this was like a 2 month time frame, and you can see that they were getting a million visitors roughly a month just from SEO and organic, and that's pretty much that. Uh, and you can also ask, what does neilpatel.com get on the back end? We actually do get 2 million unique visitors a month, right? And you can see some screenshots here that show like, how many visitors we get in a 90 or 30-minute time period, like what locations they're from, etc. And you can also see that do we actually generate 14 million views a month? Now you have to understand that the difference between a user, a unique user, and a user coming back multiple times to the website is different, right? So that those 2 million users actually come back to the website and visit multiple pages over a 1 month time frame, and that's where these numbers come from. And you can see these are recent numbers from July to August. So they're super recent. So you can see like this is happening in real time. It was not data from like, in the past. It's happening right now this month. So that just shows the power of SEO and content marketing and how it all works, right? And you can also see some historic data from the last 16 months from our Google Search Console data. And you can see that we've received over 30 million clicks on neilpatel.com in the last 16 months, which is wonderful. And we've also received over 2.5 billion impressions, which is also amazing. And it just shows the power of SEO. So
Let's talk about the omni-channel rubric. Now, in 2023, if you want to get the most ROI, most bang for your buck when it comes to marketing specifically, you need to be omni-channel. And that's what enables neilpatel.com to get as much traffic as we get from all of our marketing efforts. So first thing we care about is focusing on important keywords. The second thing we care about is making sure our website is performing and maintained at the technical level it should be. We also care a lot about international SEO. So, for example, you might see neilpatel.com has around about 9 or 10 languages on the website, everything from German to Japanese to Russian to English, obviously. We also do a lot of content refreshes and have a really robust strategy when it comes to content. We also do a lot of topical clusters, pillar pages, cluster pages. It works tremendously well. We also have our Google My Business listings on in tip-top shape, essentially. We also have our link building campaigns going out on a day-to-day basis in the background that no one usually sees. What we also usually do is we create one piece of content and then we go ahead and publish it across the board with podcasts, videos, infographics, essentially guest posts as well. We also do a ton of technical SEO. We also have a really great measurement framework for performance reporting. And then we also share all of our content across the board on all of our social platforms, all of our email channels, and any other cross promotional distribution channel that we have.
so let's jump in. So this is Sundar Pichai. He is the CEO of Alphabet. He pretty much runs Google and all of their, subsidiary companies. And you can see that anytime, and his quote goes anything like this, which is anytime you type in a keyword in Google, Google's actually gone out and stored copies of billions of web pages in our index. We basically take those keywords and then match the keywords against these pages that we've indexed based on our ranking score, based on 200 different signals, and it's based off of relevance, popularity, and how other people are using the content, right? essentially that just shows how valuable keywords are. Now, if you were to break down Google's revenue numbers, you will see most of their revenue comes from their Google AdWords program and Google.com directly. The second biggest property is YouTube, but essentially if you count up YouTube and Google.com, like that is most of their revenue, right? Like for as a business, as a company, essentially, and they're worth more than $1 trillion, essentially. So with that said, let's talk about building a keyword list, give or take. Now, before we jump in, I just want to check if there's any questions from the audience. So if you want to give me a moment, I'm going to go check that out. Just making sure I'm not missing anybody. No, there isn't. So I am going to go continue for the time being. I'm going to take breaks in the middle. So with that said, let's talk about building a keyword list, right?
Look at very tightly related group of keywords and export it and use it as your starting point for research. So as you can see here, we typed in the word marketing, and then marketing yields another 450 suggestions that we then get from Ubersuggest. What we then typically do is we take those and then we look at the keyword overview, right? Essentially, so we take our main keywords, we then go back to keyword overview, keyword ideas, content ideas, and then we type in the keyword or we type in the site name. That's something that most people don't understand, that you actually use the site name to search on Ubersuggest, which will give you so much more data than just searching for a keyword. So head to overview. Then what you do is you can essentially on the left, the number of keywords that a domain has, the domain rank, essentially the domain authority. You can also see the number of backlinks a domain has. You can also see the number of organic visits they have, essentially. You can not only look at their top 5 keywords, you can also look at a lot more keywords that they are actually ranking for and what's working for them right now. And then what you can do is you can actually click on the content ideas tab and then essentially go in there and you can look at the most talked about, most valuable, the most visited, highest trafficked content for either the website or for that chosen keyword. You're able to see the visits, you can see the shares, you can see essentially a lot that's going on there in terms of where it's at. And you can also export these keywords, which is huge, right? Now, what you're looking for is you're looking for long tail keywords. For example, single word phrases or short tail keywords as they're called are really, really competitive to rank for. It's really, really tough to rank for t-shirts. But if you want to rank for blue American apparel t-shirts, it's a lot easier. It's a lot lower competition. But you can also see when it's a long tail keyword, there's a higher buyer intent, so it has a much higher chance of you getting more conversions. So let's talk about writing content that actually contains your newly found keywords. Content that Google loves. First step is you have to find ideas and keywords that Google essentially loves, and that is what we just did with building our keyword list. You can start creating content using the AI writer. Is you can essentially use the keyword ideas report or keyword ideas tab, type in your desired keyword, and it will actually give you the option to generate content using AI to start using the AI writer to start writing content, right? So there's 2 ways you can initiate the AI writer. One is just by following step 1, taking the keywords, putting it in the AI writer. Step 2 is essentially you are using the keyword ideas tab. With that said, let's jump into step 3. So once you have entered your initial target keyword, then AI writer is going to essentially ask you to pick a title idea, right, in the drop down. What you want to do is you want to look for a title that best represents your page, your content, like the long form content you're trying to rank for, and choose that. Now, another thing that you also can do is you can actually edit the content, edit the title based on the pencil icon that you see on the right side. So you can see on the screenshot right below where it says 10 innovative marketing strategies. to boost your business in 2021, which technically should be 2023, 2024, but you can see it kind of came through as 2021. So we wanted to make sure to leave that in there so you can actually go in there and edit it, right? That's an example of how like AI Writer gives you content. You have full control over how you edit the title, edit everything essentially. We'll look into that in just a moment. With that said, once you choose your title, then you can also look into the introduction that you like the most, that best describes your content. So essentially, I've chosen the first one because it was 200 words and it was pretty on point to what this target content was all about. So that's step number 4. And then coming to step number 5, you can see essentially that AI Writer gives you subheader packs that best suit your content or article, right? You can also click on the pencil icon to start editing the structure of the article to match your objectives and needs, and structure the content and article however you wish. So that is one great thing about AI Writer. You have full control of essentially everything that goes into the article. And voila, you're done. Essentially, as soon as you pick your subheading pack and then edit it and then finalize it, you just click next and it's done. You have a really valuable piece of content that's ready to be published, and you can go through it, you can edit it, and you have full control over how it's published, where it's published, the means of publishing, etc. You also have the ability to share the finished content as a link, as an exported document. You can also share it via Facebook. You can export it as HTML. You can also export it as a doc file. But essentially, this is to send this content to your team member or editor or publisher to basically get the content published, essentially. So that is as easy as that. And the next thing I wanted to discuss real quickly is that the AI product roadmap. One thing about the AI writer is that not only are we only going to be focused on creating long form content, we're also going to be focused on creating a lot of other AI products that you will get access to in the coming months, right? So let's look at this. You have AI video, everything from TikTok videos, TikTok video scripts, hooks, YouTube titles, YouTube ideas, YouTube outlines, YouTube introductions, YouTube descriptions, YouTube hooks, right? And that's AI video right there. Makes production of videos far faster, easier. Same thing with AI social and PR. So we have LinkedIn posts, we have Instagram captions, hashtags, Quora answers, tweeting threads, tweet generators, press releases. So there's a lot that's coming over there. We also have AI paid ads, meaning AI Facebook ad copy, Google ad copy, LinkedIn ad copy, Google ad description, ad title, LinkedIn ads, LinkedIn headlines. So that is AI paid ads. We also have AI ecom. So ecom product descriptions, ecom product ads, essentially e-commerce product titles, e-commerce product description pages, and listing pages. So this will make creation of e-commerce pages way easier. The output is going to be way faster and easier for you to put out in terms of launching new products on your e-commerce store. Same thing with AI SEO. So AI SEO is going to help you with SEO meta tags and meta descriptions for product, meta descriptions for blogs, meta tags for titles and home pages. So there's a lot that's coming over there as well. There's also AI rewriter, sentence expander, text summarizer, content shortener, tone changer. There's also AI landing pages coming up. So you have AI copy, AI headline. We also have AI email, AI subject lines, AI email writer, cold email versus warm email, sales email versus essentially just like an outreach email. So there's a lot coming in the AI product roadmap. We're super excited to present all of this to you in the coming months. And as we talked about previously, content marketing has transitioned from a single channel endeavor where we're only talking about SEO and publishing content to now it's omni-channel. Google cares about all of the channels that you publish content at. The goal for Google is try to make sure to give reputable brands the traffic they deserve, and that's why it's called earned media. Let's also talk about the back office infrastructure of publishing a lot of content and doing content marketing right.
So essentially, topics are picked, outlines are created, drafts are created, then it's sent to our dev team who then upload the content. They do some SEO optimizations, add some images, add some internal links, external links, etc. And then they start promoting that content on social media, getting backlinks from other websites, getting that emailed out to the rest of the list, etc., etc. And then they repeat the process. And in a nutshell, this is how it looks, right? So we use Trello for this. We also have used Asana and we have used ClickUp as well in different stages. But essentially, you can see what's happening here. The topic is chosen. The outline is reviewed by an editor. The writer writes it, and then essentially the editor reviews it, adds links, makes sure everything's good, and then finally it's getting uploaded into the website. Essentially, this was the process for neilpatel.com, and we actually did this thousands of times, essentially, over the last couple of years. And so this is kind of the logistics behind content production and getting that out there. With that said, do blogs actually work, and do they still generate organic traffic? Now, this was a study done at neilpatel.com and NP Digital, and we actually found that 62% of all organic traffic was actually generated by blogs and content that was written on the website, right? The rest of it was product pages and things of that nature, but most of the time it was written content that was generating most of the SEO traffic across the internet going forward. So how do we use AI Writer for different needs? So let's kind of cover that, right? Before we do, let's talk about a brand and what is a brand, right? And this is a quote from Elon Musk, essentially one of my favorite people ever. So we'll talk about brand perception for a moment. So in his mind, brand is basically just a perception that a lot of people have in their mind, and essentially the perception will match reality over time. Sometimes the perception is ahead, oftentimes it's behind, but brand is simply a collective impression that someone has about a product or a company, essentially. So why are we talking about brands? Why is it relevant, right? Uh, the main important thing when it comes to brands is that Google, Bing, and a bunch of other search engines, even if they're smaller, they value a brand more than just like a quote unquote blog, right? They want to send traffic to a brand essentially, and that's what you need to build to kind of capture the most amount of traffic from SEO and organic. Essentially, what they call it, at least in the SEO space, it's called earned media, right? They call organic traffic SEO content marketing, and the traffic received from that as earned media, right? Because you are putting out content that then Google and a bunch of other search engines are evaluating if it's valuable enough for you to earn their media or earn their uh, audience, essentially. And that's what is happening. So usually free traffic is not free. You're basically earning it with the content and the quality of the content that you're putting out, right? So essentially, if you want to create amazing messaging and include brand stories inside your content, all you do is you do the things we talked about thus far, and then make sure when you do your outlines when it comes to AI Writer, just make sure you put in these points in the subhead when you're creating it. And when it is done, you can also edit some of these points down. So when users read your content, it's clear, it's wide, and it's actually making sure that they understand they're coming to you for your brand, right? And a couple other places you can use content, right? Like from AI Writer that actually can help push your brand forward. Essentially, is AI focused content, like we talked about thus far. You can also create homepage content. You can create about us pages, etc. And oftentimes what we do, at neilpatel.com is we create one piece of content and we turn that into a podcast or a video or an ebook or essentially a webinar and social media posts and product descriptions, right? So that's something that we have as a practice, and that's what we do with that rubric that we talked about a couple minutes ago, which is we create one piece of content and it goes in all channels that we have, right? And we keep repeating this process, and that's why like we get a lot of reach that normal brands do not get. With that said, a couple other use cases that you can look at is optimizing your existing content with AI Writer. You can essentially uh, look at your existing content that you currently have on the website, and you can go ahead and essentially start with your URL, like make sure your URL is optimized and it's SEO friendly. Then you can use the title from AI Writer, optimize the title. You can add visual aids such as images, photos, videos, etc. into the content that you get. You can also put links to your internal URLs. You can also put out links to external URLs. Make sure that they're authoritative websites like Forbes, Huffington Post, etc. And there are data points and clinical studies and field reports, all of that kind of good stuff, backing all of those things up. You also can make sure there is alt text in all of your image files. You make sure you put LSI keywords and related keywords in your content. Make sure the first 100 words are the best you have, and that's something that we talked about, like the lead-in content that we had earlier. It also helps to improve your loading speed, to make sure if you have the lazy load plugin and things like that, like you make sure you have the Yoast plugin to make sure your content is being indexed correctly. So a bunch of different plugins for WordPress help. And then you optimize for social sharing, and then you make sure you push this out and it's also accessible on mobile, right? So these are some things that you can actually do with the existing content you have with the AI writer, and basically take the content that we give you and then kind of like put that in, right? And then you can also make sure to use the AI writer to help come up with essentially metadata, headline tags, body content. The other pieces, I don't think we offer that yet, like the alt text and technical code and internal links, external links, the schema markup, mobile usability, and viewability. Those are not things we currently offer yet, but those are coming down the pike. But these are some of the things you want to work on as an SEO, as a content marketer, to make sure you're optimizing for rankings. An e-commerce brand, you should be optimizing your title tags, your bullets, your descriptions, and your keywords, because this is something that's going to help you rank for your key product pages and peripheral keywords that that product page needs to rank for. And essentially, you can use, Ubersuggest to help with some of this right here, and also some of the features from AI Writer can help you with this, but primarily the current AI writer version is focused on long form content. All right, so here are a couple of tips that you want to follow when writing content and making sure that the content that you get from AI writer is optimized for SEO, right? You want to make sure your current paragraphs that you get are less than or at 5 to 6 lines, not more than that, because if you have like a 10 like a huge post like with multiple pages of like paragraphs, like it's tough to read, right? Like we're not trying to write War and Peace. We're trying to put out content that people can read and kind of consume and turn into a customer at a later date. With that said, you want to be using you and I within the content to make sure there is an illusion of a conversation. And again, AI Writer already does this, and it is all kind of baked into the system. You want to also structure the content to have an introduction, body, and conclusion. Again, all the content that you get from AI Writer has all of this. Also, you want to use subheadlines in the body to make sure it's easier to skim. And we already talked about how the AI Writer already has that, right? So it's kind of put out there. Now I want to take a moment to kind of look through and make sure that I'm not missing any questions. So I'm going to get out of the presentation to just check out if I'm losing anyone. No, I'm not. All right, so let's jump back in. Sorry about that. Uh, all right, so let's also talk about some of the features that AI Writer has that isn't publicly available, right, or publicly seen, right? So the first thing, it actually has 63 supporting languages. So if you were to go to the AI Writer URL, you have this drop down which actually has all the different languages. So you can see it has English for United States, it has like UK English as well, it has Australian English versus like Canadian. So there's like a lot of different languages that you can choose from. Another option is that you can also do this drop down for quality, right? So you have general quality content or normal, and then you have premium quality content. So if you really want to push an article and make sure it ranks for a certain keyword, you need to pick premium. I usually, for anything that I do, I always pick premium because the quality and the output is usually unique and it is just way better output when it comes to content, right? So that's some of the language pieces and also like the quality piece. There's also, the new AI writer. Obviously, if you've used the AI writer from the past to compare to now, like the current AI writer version that we've released in the last couple of weeks has way more punchy content. Like it's diverse, it's click-worthy content. The reading flow is more natural and varies with structure for engaging, like it's far more engaging for the reader. Also, the headline suggestions and the subheadline suggestions is compelling. It has a logical reading flow. And then longer form content is just way, way better when it comes to like what we had previously to what we have now, right? Like we now can give you content that's like 1,500 words. Previously, it was kind of stuck at 500 to 600 words. So we definitely see there's a lot of value that's been added into where everything's at. And then another update from Google's side, this is more of a side note, right? They've released double EAT, in the last 3 months or so, and they've basically rolled out double EAT. And most of the time, when someone's using AI Writer, they don't necessarily know how to tackle this update that Google just released, right? So essentially, what they've said is they want to see expertise, authoritativeness, experience, and trust, right? They want to make sure the content itself is reflecting firsthand experiences using the content, visiting the location, conveying a personal experience, right? That is the type of content that they want to put out, that they want to rank now. So one of the things you can actually do is you can take the content that the AI writer gives you and then add in the experience factor to make sure it's more relatable and it's more personal, etc. Because no matter how great the AI writer is, it's not able to put in that experience factor from a human being, right? So if you're writing an article about, just say, carpentry or woodwork as an example, it's really tough to just put that, in an article. It's kind of tough, right? So you want to manually work that in to make the content way more powerful. With that said, trust is a key part. Again, I think the content you get from that, like get from the AI writer, is definitely comprehensive and it's trustworthy. And then you can also look at rating your content, basically. So you want to make sure that, there's other pieces that are also good on the webpage, such as self-representation. Does your website have an about us page? Does it have images of your company as an example, or your locations, or what you sell and how it's made and the manufacturing behind that? So that's like the representation piece. Making sure that you have testimonials, case studies, other folks, kind of customers saying nice things about you when it comes to reviews, because more of that you have, the more credibility you have with Google, right? That is a signal that they care about. Also, on page elements such as, is it easy to read? Do you have share buttons? Do you have like a good mix of imagery, videos, links, content, sometimes audio or podcast links, etc.? And that's something that they kind of look at. Uh, let's also break down some of the requirements and what they expect us to do as content creators. Experience, again, we talked about it. We want to have first-hand experience or life experience on the topic of using it. And then we also are looking for expertise, making sure that we have skill or knowledge within the field that the content is about. Authoritativeness, making sure that you have an about us page, you have all these peripheral pages that say, oh, I have the credibility, you should listen to me because of XYZ, right? Trust, obviously, making sure everything's honest, safe, reliable, it doesn't hurt anybody in any way, it's useful content to the users. With that said, we also have our author's bio. Essentially, this is a huge requirement that Google kind of rolled out when the double EAT thing came out. They want to not only see for the author's bio, meaning if you have a post published, usually there is a attribution with an author's bio under the article and talking about any sort of certification, degrees, licenses, or accreditations you've had in the field, or any sort of like track record you have in the field. That usually helps the content above actually rank better, long term. Same thing if you have like an author's page on the website, such as degrees, licenses, accreditations, etc. If you have speaking engagements, awards, recognition, active involvements in the field, all of these now count when it comes to SEO and content marketing, etc. Right? So if you were to go to neilpatel.com as an example, you will see on the right side on the sidebar all of the accolades that Neil has as a digital marketing expert, all the things he's done, basically also a really great, amazing about us page to help with that as well, right? So we definitely practice what we preach. So ideally, what you want to be doing is that if you have new content, you definitely want to use the AI writer to kind of come up with new content, publish it, etc. But if you're upgrading older content, what you're looking for is you're looking to find fixes. You don't want to fix everything at once, but the way Google works is they want you to make small changes on a day-to-day basis, and eventually they want to see everything changed on the site, right? So if you were to change your entire website 100% one time, they usually are not happy with that. What they want to see is they want to see 5% change every day on the website for the next couple of weeks, so the website is completely changed in the future. But you want to make sure that when you're republishing or upgrading content, you do one at a time and you're not just doing 20 posts in a single day, right? You want to do one a day for 20 days or 30 days because that's how Google views content in general. With that said, you also want to make sure that as soon as you complete a new piece of content or you upgrade a new piece of content, you want to take that URL and you want to do the inspection piece on your Google Search Console, because this is going to help that specific piece of content get crawled by Google and just get more visibility. Okay, this is more of like a case study of like, is content marketing valuable? Where can you follow more content, etc. Like if you want to see some amazing content, we recommend Investopedia, Helpline, Penny Hoarder, NerdWallet, Credit Karma. Like it just shows you like how valuable content marketing is. A lot of these companies don't have any other type of advertising except for content marketing, right? So if you want to really study some amazing content that's not on neilpatel.com or any of the NP digital properties, you can go to some of these websites and study how they do it in different industries, and you can take ideas and bring that back to AI Writer and try them out. So kind of where it's at. Again, going back to the rubric, I think now that we've gone through all of the things that we've talked about today, kind of shows you where you can just focus on important keywords, find them using Ubersuggest, and then you take that, you put it into AI Writer, you create one piece of content, and then you essentially publish it in multiple different channels, right? You want to publish it at podcast, video, infographic, make sure the technical SEO is sound. You can create a pillar page, you can create cluster pages, you can push it site wide, you can do link building on it. There's essentially a myriad of ways you can take one piece of content and publish it everywhere, right? If you want more information on this, just go to neilpatel.com/training. There is a specific course on each of these line items that have kind of been talked about in this omni-channel rubric, right? Like each of these are broken down in specific detail in different courses across, the slash training portal for you. So you don't have to worry about essentially, hey, where do I learn all of this? It's all there. It's completely free. You just kind of have to jump in. Okay, and then you can also see the power of content marketing and SEO. Again, this is neilpatel.com over like I think a couple month time period, and you can see how it all kind of averages out, right? Like you have organic traffic, which kind of stands at the top, but then social is number two because you take all the content that you publish on the website and you share it on social across every channel. Then direct is obviously returning users that come back to the website. And then you have email, then you have referral traffic, you have paid search, etc. But you can see like the rubric is in action when you look at the traffic numbers, right? Like this rubric that we just talked about is in action here, and you can see some results on how it works and how it kind of pans out when it is fully executed. Another hack that I would like to talk about is when you publish new content, you want to make sure, and if it's long form content, like if you have a 10,000 word article and it's super huge, you want to make sure to always provide a link on your sidebar to that content, right? So if you look at any of our comprehensive guides or any of our pillar pages, like what is SEO or digital marketing or online marketing or Google AdWords, etc. These are all pillar pages that we have on neilpatel.com. All of them receive a link from our sidebar to them, right? And I've had multiple conversations with Neil in the past, and I asked him, hey, what is the biggest SEO hack that you've done that's helped you rank for really competitive keywords? And he basically said, sidebar links. Like that was like the best thing I did for us in a really long time. Again, you want to make sure the anchor text placement are as relevant as possible. You don't want to do this for every post. You just want to do this for the most important posts. But it works really, really well. Okay, so let's talk about next steps when it comes to the AI writer. So obviously, you can get access to the AI writer if you go to app.neilpatel.com/AI writer. Again, if you have any questions in terms of like how it works or any sort of like queries or questions or doubts or concerns or feedback or anything that you want to talk about, it's there. Now, let's go to the the source and look at how it works, obviously, right? So if you go there and then you click on the pricing and plans option on the right side of the screen, this is what it's going to show you, right? It's going to show you like start rating. It's also going to show you all of the plans, right? It's going to show you like if you want 25,000 words in a month, like what is the plan for that? If you want 100,000 words, if you want 500,000 words, you can see that it's not that expensive. Like for example, if you were to hire a writer and if you were to get them to write like 500,000 words in a month, they would not be charging you $111. Like that's just not happening. You know what I mean? Like it's not reasonable to even expect that to happen. But with AI Writer, you can see like we do not have like super expensive plans of sorts, right? It's super affordable. Anyone can almost afford it with a little bit of work. And you can see like we also have different versions where you can add 2 to 7 different websites, one different website. You can also have like 8 to 15 different websites for $40 a month. And again, all of the features, all the benefits are kind of broken down here, and you can kind of take a look at it. But essentially, it is that simple. Like just pick the number of words that you want in a month, essentially go down and click on it. I'm unable to do it because I'm actually signed up as a customer, but I think you get my point, right? So essentially, you click on start rating, then you go ahead and essentially upgrade and pay. And you just click on this, and then you just click on buy add-on, and you're essentially done. Like it doesn't really take much from you, and like what's happening. So it's really easy to kind of get started. It's super easy to essentially become a customer, and you can see like it literally took me what like 2 clicks to basically go ahead and buy the add-on and just start using it, right? It's that simple. So with that said, let's go back to the deck and let's jump back in to any questions that anyone might have. Okay, I don't see any questions. So we're good. Um, Jay, I see that you're here, my friend. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking.
No,
So,
thank you for
Jay,
going through all of that. And sorry, just to interrupt you real quick. Thank you for going through all of that. And just to reference one of your previous slides, we look forward to providing some of the new features that you presented on one of the slides. And look forward to getting those out to our users. In a couple of months, and hopefully have more use cases and more features for our users to be able to create more content overall. So thank you for the great presentation.
of course. Thank you, Jay. And is there anything I may have missed, my friend? I know you are far more talented when it comes to the product, and I am the marketing manager, but you're obviously the product manager and you know more about the product than I do. So, is there anything I may have missed?
No, I think you did a great job. Again, thank you for going over everything in detail. No, I don't think there's anything that I want to add at this point.
Okay, sounds good to me. So with that said, let's kind of go through the last steps, I guess. So obviously, we have two choices. You could kind of go ahead and use the AI writer, and we're obviously going to incentivize you to do that. Option two, you can actually go spend all this time creating content yourself. Obviously, option two is not recommended because you'll see in just a moment that you can actually start using the AI writer completely for free up to 10,000 words. So if you are a Ubersuggest user and you have a free account, you can actually go ahead and use the AI writer for completely free, up to 10,000 words, and you can just complete the checkout process for that if you want. But obviously, you can just get started on the free plan. It's completely free. It How often, Jay, does it upgrade on the back end? Like the credits refresh?
For free users, it's going
Yeah.
to be a static amount. But if you
Mhm.
are a subscribed user, you will get 10,000 words per month.
Wonderful, wonderful, lovely. So that's you heard it from the man, guys. So let's jump in. Again, is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? And even if it does half of what we talked about today, is it worth your time? Obviously, we think it is. So that's kind of the main point there. Again, uh, we definitely think the price is going to be going back up to normal pricing very soon, which means like it's going to cost you money to actually test out the AI writer coming soon. So I don't know how much longer you can get started for free and essentially test out the process. But, if you are an Uber Suggest customer or if you're a user of Suggest user and you haven't checked out AI Writer, we highly recommend you check it out. It's super simple, as you've seen, just a couple clicks here and there, and you have an entire article that's like a couple thousand words. So it's definitely user friendly, and you can get started very soon. Again, there are three types of people. People who basically make stuff happen. There's others who watch things happen, and then there's people who just wonder what happened, right? And this is one of the favorite quotes that Neil has. He talks about it in every single webinar. I stole it from him, and I wanted to make sure we talked about it. Again, this is new technology that has not, been used in the SEO space before, and essentially, we think it's going to be a game changer for essentially a lot of blogs and content driven websites, and essentially a lot of content marketing strategies and executions based off of this. And again, did I mention it's free? So obviously, again, we think you should go get started right now. It's $0 today, and essentially, obviously, if you reach a certain amount of point, you definitely go ahead and have to upgrade to essentially get started. But you've seen, obviously, it's really, really affordable and it's very reasonable when it comes to the type of content we give you and the type of like the quality of the platform, etc. Like it's very affordable for the output that you're receiving. With that said, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get the AI writer. It's pretty invaluable, in my humble opinion. And then you have assignments, walls, and like a lot of different types of um, essentially assets that you receive from us on how to use the AI writer, how to get the most out of it, how to make sure the content is ranking, how to get a lot of SEO value from it. And then you also get access to our Facebook group when it comes to AI Writer and Uber Suggest in general. You also have coaching calls bi-weekly that we host for Uber Suggest customers. We have one for digital marketing Q&A where every month we get on and then we talk about your questions that you have about AI Writer or Uber Suggest or anything related to neilpatel.com. We kind of come back to you with answers. It doesn't have to be even related to Uber Suggest. It could be like general marketing questions, etc. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have the content or coaching calls that we have uh, bi-weekly as well, right? So essentially, we go through a specific content piece where we talk about, okay, we are today talking about social media and SEO, right? So we cover that topic in detail, what's working right now, what we have tried in the last couple of weeks that's worked, what you can take and execute on your own. So essentially, you are invited to all of these coaching calls and all of these Q&A calls, and you can basically ask us any questions whatsoever when it comes to marketing, when it comes to using AI writer, when it comes to using Uber Suggest and get the most out of your experience. Obviously, we also have a support team. If you can email us at support@neilpatel.com, or you can email us at support@ubersuggest.com, and that's going to give you access to our CS team, who are on standby to help you with any and all questions that you might have. And then obviously, if you want the slides to this presentation, all you have to do is to go to neilpatel.com/notes, and you can essentially get all of the slides from today's presentation. And if you have any questions or thoughts, feedback, anything, just email us and we're here for you. And any other parting words, Jay, that we have for our folks?
No, just thank you for attending again. Thank you so much, Vignesh, for walking everyone through that, and look forward to having our customers use the AI writer more.
And obviously, there's not too late to start. And this is the wonderful slide that I love to bring up. Sam Walton started Walmart when he was 44. Adolf Dassler, he started Adidas when he was 48. And Gary Busel, he started Garmin when he was 51. IBM was started by Charles Flint when he was 61. So again, I don't think it's late to get started with AI. I know there's a lot of information out there when it comes to AI, but we have spent a lot of money, time, effort, energy, and we have teams behind this to make sure that the content you get from AI Writer is definitely going to be far ahead of anything else that's out there. So essentially, that's that. Again, if you need any sort of help, support, or anything whatsoever, just email us at support@neilpatel.com. We're on standby to help you. And thank you for attending. Thank you for making the time to talk to us. We really appreciate you. And you have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you soon. Please take care. Thank you.